Alright, I'm going to do a quick update today of what I've been catching up on since I got back from my trip. So I want to start with saying the pathways, not all of them are totally clear, but that's been a big thing that I've been working on now. Over here, I just finished harvesting a ton of little red tomatoes there. And over here, I did clean this up so it wasn't in the pathway and got a bunch of tomatoes there. What I have been doing is going through, and any tomatoes they're no longer producing, I am starting to remove so I can switch over to fall things. I'll get to that in a second. So I just finished harvesting a ton of beans in here. So this was the accidental beans that were supposed to be all bush beans, and I ended up with pole beans, and I lost most of my bush beans down here to the wretched voles, as you can see there. But then, oh, lollipop, thank you, sweetie. And the the pole beans here are doing great. Actually, what's funny is, if you've ever heard of the Three Sisters, where you grow beans with the sunflowers here. So here's the sunflowers. And the beans that I planted are growing up the sunflowers. So I just harvested a bunch of those. There were a ton on here. This is the couple that I haven't caught while doing this. So let me just grab these while seeing them. So giant sunflowers, and the beans are happily growing up them. So let me throw these bunch of beans that I just got into here. So you can see there's all the little tomatoes, and I got some bigger ones. And I did put a sucker plant that I had in the house here, and I don't expect it to do anything. This is just kind of hanging out here just so it doesn't die in the house, with my lavender that you can now see because I've cleaned up this whole bed. So if you remember the last video where I didn't even know where the bed was. Let's see what we got going on over here. So this is all cherry tomatoes. They have gone absolutely crazy. It's become a bush. And then the one over here, if you remember from past videos, this is immense. This has taken over the whole bed. It's now held up with a bunch of strings. So I think you can see there's a bunch of strings there, and that's giving support to, there's somewhere in this mess, some poles. Oh, there's one of the poles there. So it's helping support the poles, but the whole thing is actually leaning that way. And it's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and then I can't walk here because there is a giant sunflower blocking the walkway. So we actually have to duck. Let's see if I can show this. You have to actually duck to go under this thing. And I tried putting a board or a stick there, like a big piece of wood, to help support it, to make it go upright. But that completely failed. So now I'm going to go underneath that, which is really funny. Here's the other side of the bush beans. Over there is my butternut squash and acorn squash bed. And that is looking really dreadful. I did get quite a few butternut squash off of this, and it is still producing, but the plant is looking awful. So I'm probably going to come out here and clip away all this stuff that looks like maybe a fungus hit or something, because here's the leaves. You can see that's not looking good at all, but then parts of it are looking just fine. So that's why I think some kind of fungus or something might have hit it. My relative that I asked advice from said probably needs fungicide, so I will figure that part out. Not today. So over here is the Romas. So I want to point out the fact that look how thinned out it is. So I came in here yesterday and I got the whole front half of this, and I was clipping away all the extra stems, like here, that weren't producing tomatoes anymore, because this is a determinate variety of tomato. So this is only going to give me tomatoes all at once, and then it's done. It's not going to produce all season. So whatever hasn't become a tomato yet, like these little ones here, they're starting to be a tomato, so that might actually give me a tomato. But I'm not really going to hold my breath this late in the season for these flowers to become tomatoes, because it is, let me see, what's today's date? Today's August 28th. So it's the end of summer. End of summer, your tomatoes, if they haven't made a tomato already, they're probably not going to. That's not to say that you won't get tomatoes, but it's just more unlikely, and I kind of give up on them at that point. So here's the other side of that tomato that's become a shrub. If you remember earlier in the year, this whole side here is where I had the bok choy growing and my leeks and all that. So now you could see just tomato and nothing else. Like, it has taken over the whole bed. So I don't know if I can retake any of this. Like, if I try and go this way, like, I don't know if I can retake any of this, because it's kind of crazy there. And it's migrating into the bed next to it now. So I don't know how to deal with that. I did stake up the, let's see, the sunflower here that had fallen over. Look how beautiful that is. So this one had fallen over on the pathway, if you remember, in my last video. So I've got a string right here attached to this stake. And let me go around this side for a minute and talk about this. So I've got tomatoes on the ground. I've got a sunflower kind of falling over here. And this bed's just kind of crazy. And this is the ornamental grass has gone crazy, and I really hate this stuff. It sliced me good earlier today. So right here is just me trying to walk past it earlier today, and you can see it got me good. I don't know if you can tell, but this whole bed is actually leaning this way. So let me see if I can show it from this angle. So wish I could do a wider angle than it is, but the whole bed has just kind of fallen over that way. So all the tomatoes are kind of exposed just because the plant's at a weird angle, but I just picked one tomato in here, and like this is supposed to be upright. So that's kind of crazy. It is what it is. There's more sunflowers, really pretty. Stuck in this corner here amongst the dog's bane and the ornamental grasses, neither of which is supposed to be here. Oh, and look, we also have a wild grape. This is wild grape. You can tell from the way it's growing. It's a vine. It's got these grape leaves. They're awful. Once you get that, like that, just keeps it back over and over. But hidden in this dark corner here is my rosemary, which is actually still doing pretty good. It smells really good. And then I've got a parsley shoved in here. The parsley's kind of wilted all of a sudden. It was looking a lot fuller earlier today when I just peeked at it, and it's kind of wilted since earlier today. I don't know why. It probably just needs some water. The fig plant here is doing great. My neighbor's figs actually gave them like a huge harvest ever since they did the coffee this year. So I just gave it some coffee today. My mom was over. It's actually still got coffee and leaves because I haven't got a chance to wash it off. But ever since I started giving it coffee, it's gotten very happy. Like, the leaves are pretty strong. The stem is really strong. It's a very happy plant. All right, let me talk about this bed here. What's the best angle to show you? Probably from over here. So this bed here was the zucchini and the cucumbers. So it's kind of getting dark now, so you can't really see, but right here is one of the cucumbers. So I left this one because I actually checked every one of these, and this one still got buds on it. And one of them, I can't tell if it was this side or the other side, still had small cucumbers. Where are you? Oh, look, there's actually a not so small cucumber right there. So that's a pretty good size right there. So I've been leaving the cucumbers that are still alive. I kind of tied them up a bit better. I took off the dead stuff. I took out anything dead because I am now using this bed for peas, which have been planted at the bases of all of these sticks, as well as the bases of the sunflowers here to be holes. And then on this end, I've got bok choy that I just planted the seeds for, and this side is iceberg lettuce. So all of that was planted yesterday, so that takes approximately 10 to 14 days to germinate according to the package. So hopefully that will do something, but yeah, I was waiting for a bed that I could switch over, so I was glad that the zucchini finally died back, that I could pull that out, and the cucumbers pretty much died back to where I could use these poles here for the peas. So I've not had good luck with peas, so I'm hoping a fall harvest will give me some better luck. I do have down here, these are all blackberries. So the original plant is over here in this little tuft here, and it migrated all the way like into this area. So this whole area that we had cleared out for this garden was just like bare dirt and nothing in the spring, and now we've got a blackberry there, and then the blackberries that were in the pots over there. We did actually cover all this with the blue tarp to try and kill those grasses, and look, they're sneaking up. Anyway, they're there. They're actually coming up right along the fence here, and along the fence over here, they're awful. I'm gonna have to talk to the neighbor about weed whacking his side, and I'll weed whack my side, and we'll see if we can tame it at least a little bit, because as I showed you earlier, it's razor wire. That sucker slices right through your skin. It really hurts. Here's showing my my squash here. It's just not so happy, but there is a butternut squash right there. So yeah, the Romas are all a decent size. They are green here, but I have been picking a ton of red ones. I actually just did my 3rd batch of sauce when I came back because I had so many. I think I'm done with canning now. I think if I get anything else, I will just freeze it, because I'm kind of done with canning, because I got very hurt with one of my jars exploding last Friday. Today is Wednesday. So I have a pretty nasty burn on my face that doesn't make me really want to continue with canning anytime soon. So over here, got this, and over there. Oh, there's one right there, sneaking in there. Here's more of the blackberries right here in these pots that I was talking about. And then my daughter was helping me weed. And I can't tell if this is, no, I think this is actually a plant in this one. She was weeding in this bucket. It's starting to get dark, I can't really see, but the weeds are taking over this one so much that I can't really see that there's a blackberry in here, but it definitely needs some water. Okay, over here I actually have signs of strawberries. There's a strawberry right here, and there's strawberry flowers. So it's starting to get dark now, so I'm going to have to wrap this up because my camera's having a hard time focusing. Really sorry about that. And ending with the coleus my mom gave me and the pineapple. Oh, it went into focus again. So the pineapple is now huge. Absolutely huge. So I gave that Osmocote a while ago. If you remember earlier in the year, this thing was yellow and sad looking. It has really perked up. It's gotten really happy because I gave it some Osmocote. I did not repot it, which we thought I was going to have to do, but luckily I didn't. So did not repot it, just gave it Osmocote, and I put it in a sunnier spot, and it is so happy. It's such a happy pineapple. And then this my mom gave me. So the coleus, you can apparently make a house plant. So I'm going to figure out how to put a piece of this in my window in the kitchen for the winter so that I can have it for next year, because I really like this plant she gave me. Alright, and one last thing before the sun totally sets here, which is beautiful. These buckets over here were the potatoes. I did harvest them recently, and I did put some of the plants that were still alive back in here, but I didn't keep up with the watering because it's kind of stuck in this corner and life has been crazy. But I don't know if we'll get any more potatoes from that, but there are potatoes in there, but they probably won't do so well because I haven't been keeping up on watering, just because life has been a little nuts. Alright, so that is my garden tour, and have a good night.